of special interest groups working together to drive up your cost of living, which is a tax, which is a burden, okay, and then tell you it's a good thing because it equates to another man's equity in his home. The value of your house went up, and that's a good thing for this group of people. It's a bad thing for those that have to pay rent. They're in a pit, and they're trying to run out of this pit of sand, and you just keep on dumping more and more sand till they keep going backwards and backwards, and they just want to give up. They just want to turn to heroin or methamphetamine or some other drug or alcohol. Run, not walk away from this so-called reality that's shoved down their throats. And then you're going to villainize them as weak links. Who needs them? We're shipping in young, strong immigrants every day. And if you say there's anything wrong with that, you're a bad American. You should leave if you don't like us. America's a land of immigrants. Meanwhile, we neglect our native-born American sons and daughters and let them die and suffer needlessly out in the cold. Do you understand what they've done? I do, and I want you to understand. Okay, let's tell them. We know what you did. We know how you did it. Okay, and you're going down at the very finger, the hand of God, working through mere mortals, made in the image and likeness of God, therefore like children of God, therefore like little gods. Okay, and we're not cowards, and we're coming against you people because the Father's fury is about to explode. Okay, and I'm referring to a passage out of the book of Revelation where it's written that God's filling this cup with the fury, this metaphorical cup with the fury of his indignation. And it ain't going to be pretty when he pours it out. But his wrath hangs heavy over America. And I'm hearing the same old crap coming. All this resistance to creating affordable housing in California. Oh, no, we can't do it. We can't let them get around we can't skirt the regulation. Oh, no. And these contractors, you think, wait a minute. It's like saying they're going to cut off their face, okay, they cut off their nose to spite their face. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Why? What? You understand how controversial this is? And this is not political in the sense that it's conservative liberal or socialist capitalist or Democrat Republican. Oh, God, it'd be so simple for me to tell you, oh, just vote this way or that way. Oh, no, they're colluding. Do you understand what I said about special interest groups colluding together against the best interests of the American people at large? Do you understand? The majority of California residents are renting. Every time housing prices go up, guess what else goes up? Rents. Do you understand? Then we got this industry set up, this $50 billion a year, this Section 8 housing money that goes. It just profits the landlords, the property management companies, the investors, the speculators, the home flippers. Do you understand? It just benefits them, and it's made the problem exponentially worse. Do you understand what they've done here? The whole pretext of pouring this $50 billion every year into subsidizing housing costs for those that can't afford their housing costs was to bring the price down. Well, we're going to satiate these landlords that just want a lot of money. We're going to here's $50 billion. Now, surely you could provide housing. How greedy are you? But we found out. But it took all these decades to find this out. They're insatiable. Listen, one aggressive investor can create a housing shortage in your town. I know what I'm talking about, my friends. I'm very well studied on this. In fact, I had my 4-year California real estate license. Okay, I know the ins and outs. I know what I'm talking about here. One aggressive investor using OPM, which stands for other people's money. Basically, all they did was learn how to run the game. I mean, it's like what Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki will teach you. Or it used to be Carlton Sheets that was all over the TV. And been one guy after another out there spewing this crap, telling people, here's how you do it, man. You want to make billions and millions. I mean, hey, you're just going to be unfathomable. Everyone's going to get rich off this scam. Yeah, I mean, you see how divisive this is? And then they call it capital. It's not being played fair. There's no fairness here. And people would argue that $50 billion a year, it's socialistic. And it's socialism in reverse. See, everything is corrupted. Capitalism is anti-capitalism. It amounts to crony capitalism at best, fascism at worst, which is really what it's descended into. And then the socialism, 50 billion a year. And then I'm going to come off as some bleeding heart liberal and a radical, and I say, hey, we'll take that 50 billion a year and just buy people modest shelters. They have little apartment complexes and whatnot. But no, oh, what? You give. Well, you liberals always want handouts and you want free this, free that. No, we're not going to do that. Stop feeding the squirrels. You're making them unhealthy, making them dependent. So they're equating humans with squirrels, less than squirrels, because the mainstream media will tell you, bring in your pets and animals. Cruelty to animals, you don't bring them in when it's freezing cold out, maybe even too hot, right? But human beings, that's okay. You understand, this is America in the 21st century. You think our foreparents would want to shoot us all in the head? And what about God? What's God's opinion of all this? That's why I say his wrath hangs heavy over us. We're in a lot of trouble, my friends, and I'm trying to warn people. I'm saying, hey, at least you can jump ship, okay? I can't make anybody jump ship. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. I'm just trying to expose to people what's happened here. How's the Labor Department involved? I explained. So they've been deliberately remiss. So it's been acted in a very divisive way across America, in a very balkanizing way, because now we've got cities that have to set up their own minimum wage. Oh, we're a more ethical city. Like San Francisco, I think they're probably as high as any city in the country, and at $15 an hour minimum wage. But what's your rent going to be? You're going to pay for a studio apartment a couple $1,000? And you think $15 an hour? What are you going to clear on $15 an hour? Just off the top of my... All right, I took a break while I did the math. You're going to clear gross $2,400 a month at $15 an hour. That's 40-hour work week. And in the course of a year, you're going to earn $28,800 gross before taxes. So you could figure on losing another 20% of that, probably close to that, in taxes. Okay, so you understand that making $15 an hour is not the panacea. We're so far off in terms of what the price should be. And you see what they've done by balkanizing us and dividing us. Cities have to set up their own minimum wage because the federal government, I mean, it's absurd. I mean, try to live in San Francisco. What is the federal minimum wage now? $10 an hour? I don't know. Okay, because they don't talk about it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, you have to live in BF, Arkansas in order to survive without getting assistance, let's say, welfare. You understand? I mean, it's ridiculous how they have subjugated labor. This is what I mean. They've normalized slavery. They didn't do it overnight. The American people wouldn't have gone for it. Okay, that's why they had to do this slowly, gradually, incrementally. They've normalized slavery. You cannot get ahead. It's like being on this hamster wheel, okay, that you used to be able to get ahead on. Minimum wage in the early 60s, $1 an hour, $1 and a quarter, around that range. You could live a standard of living, okay, a given standard of living, which included you could be a homeowner, one person working in a family, taking care of the kids. A wife could stay home if she wanted to take care of the family. If both people were working, you'd live an upper middle class life. But you could be a homeowner, you understand, on a minimum wage job anywhere in America. You understand? That was the reality. That's the America I knew as a child. You see how far removed we are from that America now, how they balkanized us? You understand how this works? I mean, it's so evil, so devious. And you know what? I mean, it keeps the entire populace discombobulated. People barely know up from down. I mean, it is overwhelming. I get it. So people say, I can't deal with it. I'm just going to go get a good paying job. And that's the answer. Just look after old number one. And I get it. I get the temptation to just say, screw everybody. I cannot worry about everybody's problem out there. I'm overwhelmed with the stress of just getting to my job, putting my nose to the grindstone, and earning gobs of dough for myself, okay? I jumped through the hoops. I got a good college education. I've got a good career now, and you've got your own problems, okay? I'm a successful entrepreneur, what other people think. You understand? But they don't care about other human beings. We've become an ungodly nation by so doing. If you don't understand that your welfare is literally, inextricably entangled in your fellow human beings' welfare, then you don't know the heart, mind, spirit, soul of God. Do you understand? And therefore you fall into the camp with the ungodly. I'm trying to save people. I'm trying to convince people, hey, you want to be on the right side of history here, the one that God condones and sanctifies. Okay, and you've got to be pure of heart, man. And in this world, it's hard. We're money lovers. We're all money lovers. But we also love to serve each other. It's our nature. Do you understand the problem here? I mean, they're taking total advantage over people. We belittle, we marginalize these minimum wage workers who are doing jobs that nobody can deny are imperative to the welfare of society. And we all just somehow, we don't think about it. We think it's just, well, I just can't. I go to church on Sunday. I can't worry about that. What's happened? That's social economic, talk to a professor. I don't know. You know what? That's not my problem. We got to hire the right politician. We just get the right politician. Totally unawares that they're all colluding together. They act like they're at odds with each other, but on the really important issues like the bailout of '08, bailing out these criminals, making them whole, while stealing everybody's houses. Do you understand? That's what these top politicians did by rubber stamping the whims of the Federal Reserve. If you don't do this, I mean, look, these people are too big to jail. Okay, they're too big to fail. So, sorry, it's a juggernaut, and you got to acquiesce. Okay, you got to conform to the whims of these people, or else the whole country's coming down. Stock market's going to zero, and it's the end of America, basically. You're anti-capitalistic, but yet the opposite is true. It's so anti-capitalistic to have bailed these people out. The 90+% of the American people were against that. Do you understand? Do you hear the mainstream media harping on this? But these are the cutting-edge educators. Do they act like it? Are they trying to inform you and educate you on what is and what is not capitalism? What is and what is not socialism? How often do you hear them talking about that $50 billion a year that just gets squandered to enrich the rich, okay, and make the problem worse? Do you hear that educating people about this? Where did this desperate poverty, are these just flawed people? Where's this desperate poverty coming from? These desperate people committing crimes, from burglaries to carjackings to homicides, for money, because they're desperate. You can say, oh, well, they're just dumb weak links. Let's go send them to prison, punish them, penalize them. But more and more, you got to do something serious. We just had a guy here locally just yesterday, I think it was, locked himself in the bathroom at a 7-Eleven, flooded it out, tried to start the store on fire purportedly. I don't know how he did that. Maybe he started the garbage can on fire. But you look at this kind of behavior and think, this guy's just trying to do something innocuous, generic, to get in jail. He wants those 3 hots and a cot. He's tired of living like an animal. Could you imagine living in the bushes, the fear? Okay, and these shelters, they don't let you take dogs in. At least a dog would warn you if somebody's creeping up on you, about to slit your throat. Could you imagine that? And we're just going to say it's somebody else's problem. That's what you're going to do, and you think you're going to stand before God someday? And what if he tells you, well, sorry, it's nothing personal, just business, but somebody else's problem, but you're going to hell. You're going with all those people that loved money more than they loved human beings. Do you understand? I mean, and the people you're going to be serving down there. Remember, these are the ones that would rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. So, listen. They're trying to put God between a rock and a hard spot forever, okay, indefinitely, in perpetuity if they can. But they're not going to be able to get away with it, and it's up to you to inform them of that. Each one of us is like a spark, you understand? And something you say is going to ignite a fuse in somebody else, and they're going to take that spark, and they're going to ignite a fuse in somebody else. And that's how this thing's going to happen. Sure, we're just drops in a bucket, but you know what? The information goes forth, and this is where the empowerment comes from. That's what God is trying to do to me and you and everybody else that gives a damn about their fellow human being and understands that their very happiness lies in understanding this fundamental fact that we are one family, that if you don't care about the least of men as your own self, as your own son or daughter, then That's Jesus. This is his own writings. To paraphrase what he said, whatsoever you do or fail to do for the least of men, whoever you perceive that least of men to be, then that is what you do or fail to do for me. I've heard some people say, oh, well, that's the aborted babies he's talking about. You got to, hey, maybe it is. For you, if that's true, fine. But what drives the abortions? Women not having enough money, being financially fearful. You understand, this is real, palpable, tangible fear that these controllers, these satanic controllers, these top money lovers that don't give a crap about soul or conscience, they don't care. They're God's sworn enemies. They don't care. I don't know what's going on in their heads. It's like trying to understand the mind